Welcome to this webinar, which provides insights into literacy skills with a focus on early learning and care settings. These insights take account of research and are drawn from inspectors' findings in early learning and care settings, as well as the guidance provided by inspectors to settings to promote improvement. All of the advice provided in this webinar should be considered in light of the prevailing public health guidelines which apply in educational settings. As explored in the introductory webinar, the foundation of language and literacy skills begin as young children learn to smile, babble, and communicate with the world around them. The work of early learning and care settings is pivotal in supporting young children to develop their language and literacy skills. The Quality Framework for Early Years Education recognises the importance of language and literacy skills in the child's overall learning and development. ASHTR, the Early Childhood Curriculum Framework, prompts us to focus on language and literacy during play and hands-on learning. ASHTR acknowledges that literacy includes oral and written language and other sign systems such as mathematics, art, sound, pictures, braille, sign language, and music. Over the course of this webinar on literacy skills, we will be focusing predominantly on oral language and early reading and writing skills. Inspectors note that settings provide many opportunities for children to develop their literacy skills. In settings where there is high quality provision, these opportunities are rich and varied and consistently support children's progressive development. Inspectors also regularly highlight how high quality settings utilize their learning environments, interest areas, and planned learning experiences to enable the children to explore print, to mark make, and to use new and familiar vocabulary during play. Early years practitioners' respect and support for diverse families, cultures, and linguistic backgrounds are important in early literacy development. Those who work with very young children have a unique opportunity to enhance children's literacy through rich learning opportunities. We will now discuss some practical ways that you can explore literacy skills through play in your setting. Learning through play is the key way in which children learn and develop. Inspectors frequently affirm practice where it is noted that children have ample opportunity to learn and explore during open-ended, uninterrupted time for play. Practitioners assume a pivotal role when planning and organising a routine and learning environment that values time for play and invites the children to openly explore new concepts. Babies love to communicate and interact in a playful manner with the key people in their lives, including early years practitioners. These key relationships provide a strong sense of security and well-being for children as they learn to interact and share their feelings and play interests. Inspectors frequently note these strong relationships. As an early years practitioner, you have a wonderful opportunity to nurture a baby's love of language. Together, you can explore action songs, rhymes, and tactile concrete items. Language play includes spontaneous sounds and words, often with rhythmic and repetitive elements. Inspectors frequently note that children like playing with language. They enjoy patterns, making sounds, and nonsense words. They also love jokes and funny stories. They relish opportunities to perform songs, stories, and rhymes, both with their peers and individually. In high-quality settings, inspectors find that practitioners actively encourage the children during action rhymes and songs while using expanded language and vocabulary as they interact with the children. Moving on now, we will consider the benefits of playful interactions with books. Young babies enjoy picture and tactile books where they can lift flaps and touch various textures. Young toddlers will love books and stories that are repetitive with silly sounds, words, and descriptions. The young child will enjoy following a storyline and characters while discussing topics that emerge from high-quality books. It is beneficial at all stages for children to sit closely with a key practitioner or their peers and enjoy the comfort and wonder that reading and telling stories together brings. Reading stories one-on-one and in small groups offers a chance to socialize with others and to explore story themes and language using puppets and play props. You can follow children's interests and make storybooks with them using photographs, their drawn images, and places from the surrounding community. Story sacks and boards can be made to depict recent events in your setting or celebrations, activities in the community, or on the news. Children adore revisiting and rereading their favorite books and engaging in a different part of the story in a new way. This experience is comforting and reassuring for children, and in time, they begin to recognize certain words and phrases in the printed material. You will now see on screen some images of welcoming reading book areas, as well as some ideas that can enhance a reading area. Ensure that the book area is bright and inviting so that children are attracted to it. In addition, provide comfortable seating in an area with natural light, where children can browse through books alone, with friends, and with the practitioner. You can consider including photos of the children and books made by the children. To generate a cozy atmosphere, provide cushions and rugs throughout the area. Consider the potential that lighting offers, for example, fairy lights and lamps. To support all children, provide a wide variety of reading materials and ensure that the materials reflect diversity in children's language, family, and cultural backgrounds. It's worthwhile to provide for a variety of stimulating activities related to books and stories. These could include art and craft activities, using instruments to enhance the story, puzzles, small world materials, and opportunities to dress up as a character from the story. We will now move on to consider mark making. Of course, as the child plays, he or she will enjoy mark making, and inspectors frequently note the great value of enabling children to engage in mark making. This type of activity begins as a baby explores sensory equipment using their hands and bodies. You can support the children's interest in mark making by ensuring that, for example, you can provide large stamps that the children press onto paper, and the children can enjoy finger painting. Chalk, paintbrushes, and sponges can be introduced to support children's effort to create and bring images and pictures to life. In addition, paper, envelopes, stamps, clipboards, and maps are just some materials that can be used to add an element of literacy to various play scenarios. For young children, symbolically using pencils and paper to create shopping lists, make appointments, and post letters are all valuable ways to make meaning of words and print in their play. Why not add mark-making stations outdoors, where the children can freely use chalk, paint, and brushes? Consider also adding cookbooks, magazines, and labels to outdoor mud kitchens, construction, and sand and water play areas. These printed materials will support and inspire the children to write. Children benefit from opportunities to freely access their individual learning portfolios and to jot down their thoughts and ideas through text or pictures. As children describe their feelings about drawings, creations, or photographs in their books, take the time to write their own words for them. This will enable them to view the writing process modeled, and in time, through regular interaction with the portfolio, the child may begin to recognize some of the words. As you engage in role play with the children, you can help to expand and develop their language. This can include modeling language within role play by adding ideas that prompt problem solving. For example, "Oh no, the dolly is sick. What shall we do?" Practitioners can extend the children's language skills by using new vocabulary, a range of adjectives and verbs, and topic-specific terminology as the children play. For example, in the kitchen area, think about the rich language that could be introduced to describe kitchen utensils. Grater, colander, whisk and sieve, grind, batter, mix, slice and season. By interacting with the children and by assuming an active role, the practitioner is ideally placed to enrich the children's language in a sustained and progressive manner in line with the themes being explored. We will now take the previously mentioned activities and describe how these could be incorporated into your settings activities throughout the day. Try to achieve this informally and run these ideas alongside the other activities. Throughout the day, you can draw children's attention to labels, signs, books, and print in the learning environment and routines. This supports the understanding that these symbols and print mean something, and they get to observe how these symbols enhance our daily activities, completing lists, completing the register, and making displays for parents, sharing text messages and emails to parents. Threading literacy practices throughout your routines in the setting will embed everyday opportunities to engage in meaningful, authentic literacy experiences. Here are some examples that you might use as part of your daily routine. Use place names at the child's table or at the lunch table, sing songs during transition periods, write letters to characters and stories, or use task badges to denote tasks and those in charge. A self-registration system is a beneficial way of building a meaningful literacy experience in the children's routine. This activity nurtures a positive sense of belonging, as the children themselves can sign in and out using their own picture and mark-making symbols. Over time, you will observe a gradual, sustained development of understanding and skills in literacy. First, the child may recognize his or her own name and their friend's name. Then they begin to recognize letters, and following this, the child will naturally desire to write his or her own name. You will notice this development occurs naturally at different times for every child, and you can support it, as suggested, informally, alongside other routines and experiences. In terms of digital literacy, if possible, access a device where information can be looked up and read and printed for the children based on current interests or investigations. All of these examples support how the children learn the relationship between spoken word and print. And when we read aloud, we are nurturing the concept of decoding, where the squiggles on the page are transformed into speech. This is all important for when the children move on to the primary school setting. Creating a rich environment that promotes literacy involves developing a space where the children are surrounded by talk and print. You can actively engage in back and forth conversations with the children using your words, comments, questions, and descriptions to consistently extend conversations, model appropriate and new language, and encourage communication between children and their peers. For children with additional needs, the use of assistive technologies can greatly support how they communicate through language, pictures, and print. Of course, there are instances where children present with particular needs. For example, children may experience challenges with communication and early literacy. For children with additional needs, picture communication systems that support their daily activities are vitally important. Using symbols, text, and props to aid communication will support how these children use language and non-verbal efforts to support their thoughts, ideas, and feelings. Children will greatly benefit from a print-rich environment that represents languages through books, signage, songs, rhymes, and play props. These strategies can also support children who speak a language other than the setting's first language. The manual communication system, LOV, through the use of LOV signs in early learning and care settings, will help children to progress their learning and development. And for most children, signs are used as a bridge to talking. LOV can also support children to express and relieve frustration. LOV has many benefits in supporting literacy development. The Hannon program provides parents and practitioners with practical strategies to help their children learn language naturally through their daily routine. Its main focus is developing communication skills for young children. Inspectors frequently commend settings where the early years practitioners have created a language-rich learning environment. Here is an extract from a report which demonstrates how the setting made connections between a topical interest of the children and the use of literacy skills to transform this interest into a visual creation using the children's words and images. This second example captures the link children can make between written and spoken language and the importance of having materials accessible and available to them to support such learning opportunities. Here we have provided a list of resources which relate to literacy development. We would like to thank you for taking time to listen to this webinar. If you have direct queries or comments arising from your engagement with this webinar, please use the dedicated email address provided to contact us in the Department of Education. We thank the listed primary schools and early learning and care settings for sharing photographs with us.